Good morning, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast, Spiritual Sense. Today is Saturday, January the 5th, February the 5th. And so I'm going to proceed with the daily card reading. Now, I've already paid homage to Mauritius, Bastet, Yamaya, Shango, and Osiris, okay? And I've smudged by way of my spray. Florida water spray my cards in my area, and I've said my prayer. Please provide me with infinite wisdom, knowledge, capability, and understanding as I do this reading. I don't know what this reading entails, but I do feel like it is a relevant reading. So with this podcast, it is an open social discussion in regards to the paranormal, supernatural. I speak on things such as angels, demons, demonology, spirit communication tools, spirit guides, hauntings, curses, things of that nature, pagan belief systems and practices. I also incorporate the tarot card reading into this podcast as well. I also like to state that this podcast is for entertainment purposes. And what that means is if it just so happens to coincide with your life, that may be by chance or even by happenstance. When you begin to work with spirit and spirituality, you will notice how serendipity and synchronicity will fall into place with life. That's how the cycle of life happens. I don't go snooping and prying and probing into anybody's personal affairs to provide any type of or try to incite, infuriate, or spark up any type of reactions. Okay. So, as I mentioned, we are on our conquest for greatness, and we want to walk in greatness by way of what? Excellence. And I believe the 2022 is a year of greatness and excellence, despite whatever adversities or any negative output that we may see via the media, or when we go out. We want to be aware and conscientious of it being there, but we don't want to focus on it. Okay, so I'm going to proceed with my daily card reading for today. Today I am working with the AE weight cards. And for those who will be listening in to this podcast, I have two YouTube channels. My regular YouTube channel, The Holistic Health Approach, under my name, Sharonda King, which entails 3 of my podcasts. One being Ancient Ancestry, where I go over, ancient as well as more modern history in regards to Africa, as well as other customs and belief. That's Ancient Ancestry. Also, I have the podcast Health Matters, where I go over chronic care type of ailments and diseases, and the pathophysiological processes of those ailments and diseases, and that is on Health Matters. I have subtitled Mental Health Matters within that podcast as well, where I go over mental health concerns and regards to your mental health and well-being. And that is on my podcast, Health Matters. The other podcast that I have is Holistic Health.
Text message.
Holistic Health is a podcast where I go over natural home remedies, your old wives, chicken noodle soup type of recipes, teas, tonics, and as such, herbs, spices, and things that you can use for minor health concerns. That is Holistic Health. Chakra clearing and balancing is also listed on there as well. I have another YouTube channel which is specifically for this podcast that I'm recording on today, and that is entitled Spiritual Sense, as such. Okay, so I've laid out the cards. Now, there are several spreads that you can do or use when you are doing your tarot card reading. I typically favor the 10 card spread, which is the Celtic Cross, entails 6 cross, to 6 cards in the middle, which is in a cross, and then you have the 4 additional cards. Card 1 is going to be on the situation, person, or some type of insight or clarity about something. Card 2 is going to be the barrier or obstacle. Card 3 is what you're trying to attain or what's above the situation or person. Card 4 is the reason or the root of the issue. Card 5 is going to be to the near past or what's occurring. Card 6 is the near future or what's occurring. Card 7 is going to be the attitude. Card 8 is going to be what is around and surrounding this particular situation or person. It could be physically surrounding, or it could very well be what you sense. Card 8 is going to be hopes, fears, and dreams. What the hopes are, what are their dreams, and what do they fear? It's going to be card 9. And card 10 is going to be the outcome of the title reading altogether. Now, oftentimes I may do readings where there needs to be more clarity as the outcome of the reading, and that's when I will pull out my supporting deck of cards, and I will may pull a 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a 5 card spread, and that's just to get additional clarity. I do have a total of 5 cards that I work with. The ones I'm working with today is the A.E. Waite Tarot card. I have the Secrets of the Tarot deck card. I also have the Psychic Tarot deck card. And the other 2 cards is my Angelic cards. And let me get the actual title of the cards just a moment. Okay, so these are, let's see, Archangel Oracle cards. And then I have my Moonology cards. And, you know, oftentimes I'm prompted, the Moonology Oracle cards, prompted to pull one or the other, or even both, if I'm doing it, you know, a more integrated tarot card reading where I, you know, use pretty much all of the cards, okay? Which I typically do those on Sundays. I find that I do those on Sundays, okay? So I'm going to proceed with pulling my cards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And give me just a moment. Let me proceed with laying out my cards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So for card 1, I have Ace of Swords. That's in cards 1 position. Card 2, the barrier. This is what the obstacle is, or the barrier. I have the 6 of Pentacles. Card 3, what's above the situation. I have 4 of Wands. Card 4, I have Queen of Swords. That's the root of the issue or the reason. Card 5, I have 10 of Swords. And card 6, I have King of Swords. That's what I have. Okay, so something is letting me know that I did do a reading in regards to alternative lifestyles and practices is what I did a reading on yesterday. So this reading today, I feel as though this reading is targeted give me just one moment. Let me get clarity on the reading. So right now I feel as though there's a lot of I did do a reading where I mentioned that I felt like the reading was focused on, some persons in armed forces, females of authority in armed forces who was being harassed in a job setting. Okay. I feel like this is in addition to this reading, in reference to that topic of alternative relationships. So right now I feel as though something is letting me know that there is a lot of alternative relationships of older populations right now is what I feel. And I feel as though because of fear of being judged and fear of harm coming to these persons, that a lot of confusion is around those situations. Not necessarily to say that these people or persons are confused, but I do feel as though there's a lot of confusion that's around those situations. That's what I feel. Something is letting me know that there's a lack of support from those particular individuals is what I'm getting at. And because of that lack of support, a lot of times they resort to the unthinkable in order to survive. I show that, let me pull out card 7. I have Justice card. I feel as though right now, the attitude is that need for support and justice. Something is also letting me know that I feel as though there is a lot of deception that is surrounding that group of people. And in essence, what I mean by that is I feel as though that particular population has a feeling of a lack of trust. Like there's no one they can turn to. They feel like there's no trust there, and I feel like a lot of them are turning on each other. If you want to be honest about it, I honestly feel that way right now. Like a lot of them are turning on each other and not, the things that they once believed or once was into. That no longer are into those things is what I feel, and so as a result of that, I feel like when they are reminded of those past, how can I put it, flaws, for lack of a better word, or past encounters or past moments or phases in the past or a moment in time, it brings about a lot of passion and rage and anger is what I feel. Card 8, I have 2 of Cups in card 8 position. So in essence, I feel like a lot of them are setting each other up is what I feel. And because of that lack of support and that lack of awareness and that feelings of confusion and as such. Okay. Card 9, Fear, the Fool card. So oftentimes when I get the Fool card, it's in reference to deception. Is what that is. So I feel like it's a lot of deception that is surrounding that particular population. And what I mean by that is buyer beware type of thing. Because if you are someone that is not right in your temple and you become curious or even inquisitive, you will become encased in that reality. And as a result of it, this is what I think they use them and manipulate and control them in order to make them pawns for their cause, is what I feel. Card 10, I have Seven of Swords. So I feel as though they are in fear right now. Like many of them are in fear right now, and they're doing the unthinkable in order to protect themselves. Is what I feel. Let me pull out my Moonology cards. Just a moment. I'm going to pull out my Moonology cards, but somehow I am focused on this particular subject for today, and it's a message that needs to be conveyed about fear, and the fear is because of deception, being deceived, and not being able to trust. And so I want it to be known to those persons that are out there. The biggest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he did not exist. As you feel, this is how the population will feel. So don't let Satan play on your intellect, play on your emotions. Because oftentimes they represent emotions in you that is the test of how you feel. And that's what medical may come into play, or even mental come into place. So you would choose your vice. So say for instance, if you have those desires that are not natural or normal, by popular belief, oftentimes it could be something medically going on with you. Something simple as drinking water, increasing your protein and your vitamins and such. And I'm not saying this to be facetious, because I do have the nursing background or what have you, and what presents to you is what presented within me. So that's how I would know what that is. This is in good faith. This is not to judge you and what you do and don't do, but please understand and trust that spiritual realm is very, very, you are out there. We all are out there. We are susceptible to these spirits. Okay? So I am going to pull out my Moonology cards, and I do have them pulled out. I'm going to pull 2 cards. Just 2 cards. For clarity for this reading. Okay, so card 1 says it's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. So, which, has the Scorpion. You can't be so quick to trust everything that you feel and see in life. You will begin to understand that the test is within yourself. Those emotions and feelings and thoughts oftentimes that are presented to you is a test as such, and the enemy or the spirit will wait for you to turn on yourself. It's already ingrained in you as to what is going to happen to you. So if you already know that these things are not right, oftentimes you will turn against your own self and reap the result thereafter, and it will manifest in your physical. Once you become spiritually in tune, you will understand that. And those spirits will begin to gravitate to you without even, it's not even a thought. It's the point. And many times I take note that it's by way of a trance. Many times when they're not, I find that when there's some type of nutritional deficiency, meaning if a person has not ate a proper diet or drank enough fluid, it would feast out a lot of those demonic spirits. And you will begin to know that because they will begin to gravitate to you when you have certain desires, negative desires towards yourself, within yourself. And this is God making you aware as to why they choose to keep people from having food. See, people sit and say that it has a lot to do with size. That's because they are bound by vanity, superficial, what they know on the surface. But somebody that has been spiritually in tune and matured will know exactly what that is, okay? So we're going to proceed to the next one. It said the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. So, again, that momentum, that energy, that foster that presents to you, you would know what that is. It's nothing that no one has to explain to you. nothing no one has to say to you, you would know what that is. So right now, my focus is on alternative relationships right now. This particular reading is applicable to older populations that are in alternative situations. And alternative meaning bisexual, gay, or whatever the case may be. I'm not judging you and what you do, but what I am letting you know is oftentimes those spirits will present to you without even thinking about it. Like they are in a trance-like state, and this is God letting you know these things are being done through the guidance of spirit, whether it be favorably or unfavorably. So you cannot be so quick to be subjected by the superficial, meaning what sits before you. Once you have matured in the spirit, God will enlighten you as such as to what that is and what that is coming from. Okay? So, I am going to close out this podcast for today. I do feel as though it was a relevant podcast that needed to be conveyed. And so if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.